Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Solar Quarter and the First View Group, I'm Ella, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to today's high impact webinar on Renewable Andhra Industry Voices on the Road to APCEX. We're truly delighted to have you with us for what promises to be a thought provoking and forward looking discussion. Today's session brings together distinguished leaders from across the renewable energy value chain, uniting policymakers, developers, investors, and technologists to shape a greener, more resilient energy future for Andhra Pradesh. Before we begin, let me take a moment to set the stage for today's engaging dialogue. Andhra Pradesh is rapidly positioning itself as a clean energy leader with ambitious targets, a robust policy framework, and strong investor interest. Expect valuable insights into the latest trends, technological advancements, and policy updates shaping the future of renewable energy in Andhra Pradesh. Before we move ahead, I'm pleased to share an exciting announcement with you all. We are delighted to announce the Andhra Pradesh Clean Energy Expo and Investors Conclave 2025, called the APCEX, taking place on September 19th till September 20th, 2025 at India Expo City, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. This landmark event will bring together decision makers from residential, institutional, commercial, and industrial sectors, along with trade visitors from Andhra Pradesh and beyond. As Andhra Pradesh's largest platform for clean, green, and smart energy, APCEX 2025 is set to drive innovation, partnerships, and market impact, fueling India's clean energy transition. Over two power-packed days, the conclave will feature over 5,000 visitors, 100 plus exhibitors, and 15 plus expert-led sessions. The focus will span across solar, wind, storage, green hydrogen, EVs, bioenergy, DRE, transmission, and manufacturing, spotlighting the future of energy. We warmly invite you to join this dynamic gathering and help shape Andhra Pradesh's clean energy roadmap. Whether you are a policymaker, industry leader, or investor, your voice matters at APCEX 2025. So let's now take a quick look at the event teaser. I now request my team to kindly play the video. Thank you, team, for playing that. So what a high impact event we have coming up, and it is a must visit. So we now take a moment to acknowledge and thank our platinum partner, Colorshine, for their invaluable support in making this event possible. To give you a glimpse of their remarkable journey and contribution in the clean energy sector, we will first play a short company video.
India's growth journey is built on many pillars, but one that truly forms its backbone is steel. Steel is more than just a material, it's the silent strength behind India's rise. At Colorshine, we're proud to be part of this story, powering India's progress. We take steel beyond its raw form and, through value-added processes that enhance, refine and shape it, create solutions that forge futures and frame possibilities.
Hi, I'm Cora, Colorshine's robotic assistant, designed to take you on a guided tour of our facility. Come, let me show you around. At our state-of-the-art facility in Andhra Pradesh, we power India's growing steel processing sector. Let's begin at the entry bay. High-quality hot-rolled coils arrive, are weighed at the weigh bridge, and then placed in our raw material yard, the starting point of our journey. After a thorough quality check, they're cleared for processing and transformation. The transformation begins as the coils are sent to the trimmer, where uneven edges are precisely cut to ensure consistent width and clean lines. This sets the stage for what follows, elevating raw steel into high-performance materials that shape the industries of tomorrow. Following trimming, the prepared coils are directed to the pickling line, where the real refinement begins. The process begins with pickling, where acid baths remove scales, oxides, dust, and surface impurities, preparing the steel for smooth, defect-free rolling. The result is a perfectly prepared HRP coil. Hot-rolled pickled, clean, smooth, and ready to enter the next critical stage, cold rolling through our advanced 6-high mill. Watch how the pickled coil goes through our advanced 6-high mill, where the steel strip is gradually rolled down with meticulous precision, through multiple passes on the rolling mill to achieve the desired thickness. This vital step ensures the material is perfectly prepared for the subsequent metal coating process. Witness the cold-rolled coil guided into the CGL for aluminium zinc coating, starting with surface treatment. This crucial stage involves ECL, electrolytic cleaning, which removes residue iron fines for a cleaner surface. The strip then enters a controlled, non-oxidizing environment that prepares the surface for flawless coating adhesion. Following furnace treatment, the strip enters our pot section for metallic coating. Equipped with a dual pot system, our line enables seamless switching between aluminium zinc and zinc coatings. Based on application requirements, we offer AL zinc coatings from AZ70 to AZ200, or zinc coatings from Zen 80 to Zinc 350, each tailored to deliver the desired level of protection and performance. At this stage, an optional acrylic coating is applied, preparing the strip for commercial rollout as our premium bare AL zinc coil brand, Metalue. Now, the Colorshine logo is applied via inkjet printing, ensuring easy identification and brand authenticity. With this, the steel is ready, either to be supplied as our premium bare AL zinc coil, Metalume, or as raw material feed for color coating. Precision is our benchmark. At our advanced color coating line, the bare AL zinc coils, or galvanized coils, begin a new transformation. The process begins with yet another rigorous cleaning stage, removing all residues to ensure flawless paint adhesion. Our advanced 4-coat paint technology forms 9 distinct protective layers, engineered for durability, weather resistance, and visual appeal. Our coils are available in high-performance paint options like RMP, SMP, UDP, SDP, and PVDF. At our state-of-the-art facility, we ensure consistent paint micron accuracy and long-lasting brilliance across all product finishes. At ColorShine, we don't just coat metal, we create possibilities that shine beyond expectations. Backed by a 15-year warranty, Signature, our flagship range offers premium performance. Designed to reflect your style, Spectrum comes with a 9-year warranty. We implement different packaging forms for domestic and international markets. Our dedication to excellence doesn't end at production. Every coil undergoes rigorous quality checks at all stages, ensuring it meets global standards. At ColorShine, we understand that careful handling is crucial for maintaining the integrity of our coated steel coils during transportation. For optimal safety, we ensure all safeguards are followed, so every coil reaches its destination in perfect condition. Efficiency drives our distribution network. From factory to field, every coil is handled carefully, ensuring seamless delivery to distributors and industries that depend on our expertise. Productivity, for us, begins with dignity. Spotless canteen facilities, meals served with care, comfortable, well-maintained living spaces, sports facilities. At ColorShine, progress is not just measured in tons of steel, it's reflected in the lives we touch. At ColorShine, sustainability is not a checkbox to be ticked, it's woven into every action, every process, and every decision we make. Our zero liquid discharge facility is proof that sustainability is built into the core of our operations. Our Green Zone initiative spans over 20 acres, enhancing ecological harmony and contributing to a reduction in our carbon footprint. Diversity drives innovation. At ColorShine, women are operators, engineers, leaders, and changemakers. Our commitment to quality, compliance, and environmental responsibility is certified at every level. It's how we build trust today and stay future-ready for a greener tomorrow. Proudly made in India, trusted across the world. We don't just export steel, we export the pride of Made in India, backed by global credibility. This is ColorShine, built with purpose, powered by people, creating impact that aims to leave a legacy beyond steel. I am proud to be a part of the ColorShine family. Join hands with us for a brighter tomorrow.
Wow, thank you for that incredible insider journey into the ColorShine's internal production processes. And moving on, it is my privilege to invite Mr. Chandrasekhar, General Manager, Sales and Marketing from ColorShine, to deliver a presentation on behalf of his company.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the patience hearing of 10 minutes video on the plant. So we look forward to meeting you all at AP Clean Energy Expo on 19th and 20th. Meanwhile, I have 10 minutes time. I'll quickly take you through the a small presentation on the various products we make. We manufacture here the product called Metallium, which comes from AZ72, AZ200. Basically, AZ 150 and 200 is used in module mounting structures for the solar parks and also for the rooftop applications. So this comes in either 340 MPa or 550 MPa. We can do up to AZ 200 with 1.6. We are also planning to introduce a product with magnesium. It is in R&D stage. Probably in the next 6 months to 8 months, we may launch that product also. Second is we can do the thickness up to 1.6 currently. That also we are planning to increase. And
Sir, sorry to disrupt. If I may request you to kindly switch on to the full screen mode so that the numbers would be visible properly to our audience.
is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
Thank you so
very,
much.
very sorry.
No, no, no.
Okay. The tensile can be from 340 MPa and 550 MPa, which are more suitable for the module mounting structures applications. We have been certified by Vari Energies, and we have also supplied to Adani Green Energy, and we have a capacity to manufacture about 25,000 tons in this plant. This plant is located in Gudur, which is in Andhra Pradesh, nearby Tirupati. And we have a legacy of 75 years old. This group is backed by Abhay Ispat Enterprise, and we have this product is proved. We have all certifications like BAS and other norms we follow, and we also use this product for our internal color coated applications. And you have superiority over aluminum, galvanized coils, because this is the condition if you use aluminum zinc alloy after 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years. The aluminum zinc alloy has got barrier protection, whereas zinc has got sacrificial protection. And the aluminum zinc alloy has got 55% of aluminum and 43.5% of zinc, and rest is silicon. So this gives a better protection over the conventional zinc products. So to cite an example, if we use Z200, that is zinc 200, it gives you about 27 microns of coating. Even Z275 gives 40.50 microns coating, whereas AZ150 itself will give you 40 microns. That is the comparison. So this obviously have better protection over aluminum zinc alloy. Some of the major applications, these are the which is used majorly in solar module mounting structures, tubes and pipes, cable trays, HVAC ducts. The other application is widely now started using in India. It is light gauge steel structures, LGSS and LGSF, grain silos, false ceiling. These are some of the applications. These are used in roofings and cladding also, cable trays, decking, Z and C purlins, racking systems, storage racking systems, HVAC ducts, which are in AHUs, and white goods, whatever double door fridge we see, back panels are made in GL, even the washing machine, back plate, grain storage systems, grain silos. And LGSS is fast picking up in India. The light gauge steel structure is very easy to construct, durable. And metal false ceilings, dry wall partitions with the other boards, it is compatible. So we are so far approved by Vari, and Adani has already bought our material. We have approvals for coated steels in companies like ArcelorMittal, Lloyd Metals, Chennai Metro Railway, and then Airport Authority of India, and other oil companies, Lloyd Infrastructure, Metecno, companies like Even CMR also approved our product. Thanks for the patience you have shown while watching the video and the presentation. Look forward to meeting you at the AP Clean Energy Expo 19 and 20. And we request you to please post your queries offline also, so that we will be clarifying you through email or over phone. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Chandrasekhar sir, for that incredibly insightful presentation. Now, let's dive right into the heart of today's session, which is our panel discussion titled The Clean Energy in Andhra Opportunities, Challenges, and the Road Ahead. So just a quick reminder to all our attendees, we will have a live Q&A session at the end, so please feel free to submit your questions anytime through the Q&A box. So now, without further ado, let me introduce our esteemed panel of speakers. Today we have with us Mr. Alok Nigam, Chief Executive Officer, UPC Renewables India, Mr. Chandrasekhar, General Manager, Oriana Clean Energy, and moderating the discussion today with us is Mr. Chandan Dixit, Director, PwC. So a very warm welcome to all our esteemed panelists, and over to you, Mr. Dixit. I believe Mr. Dixit is facing some temporary network issues. While he rejoins us, I would just request our panelists to kindly begin with their introduction, a brief introduction about them one by one. If we can start with Mr. Alok Nigam, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Alok Nigam, CEO of UPC Renewables India. And I mean, it's a JV between two Asia Pacific led IPPs. One is AC Energy, the other is UPC Renewables. And I mean, in India, we have solar capacity operating of about 600 megawatt. And we have another 500 megawatt under construction at present, including solar as well as wind. And we have another 500 megawatt, including solar and wind, that we would be going into execution over the next 6 months. And overall, I'm very excited to be a part of this APCEX. I mean, it is definitely something that I look forward to attend and meet the dignitaries, as well as understand and learn about the fast paces of development that have been happening, not just in renewable energy, but also in the economy in the state under the current decisive leadership. Thank you.
So Mr. Chandan Dixit has joined us now. But Mr. Dixit, we were just going over everyone's introduction first, as you had some technical issues. So
Yeah.
moving on to Mr. Chandrasekhar's introduction. Over
Hi,
to you, sir.
everyone. Yeah. My name is Chandrasekhar, and I am part of Oriana Clean Energy, General Manager for Business Development and Strategy here. Oriana, we are majorly an EPC company. We do large-scale solar power plants. We have an installed portfolio over the years about 1.5 gigawatt plus, and we have been working across multiple states for majority of the developers. Especially our expertise majorly comes in terms of doing large-scale solar power plants, 200, 300 megawatt above at a single location. So happy to be here and happy to be part of the AP Clean Energy Expo, and looking forward to be there on the 19th at Vijayawada as well.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Mr. Dixit.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you once again to First View Solar Quarter and NSFI for giving me this chance to moderate and interact rather with this esteemed panelist and the esteemed moderator group. Warm welcome to you, Alok ji and Chandrasekhar ji. It's good to interact with you on this virtual platform. Just to give a brief introduction about myself, I'm Chandan Dixit. I'm a director with PwC India. Prior to PwC, I also worked with Deloitte. So the entire part of my career, I have been in consulting. We have worked extensively across the renewable energy and battery storage related value chain. Recently, we are also working with multiple clients on green hydrogen related engagements. That's in brief about me. And I'm very pleased to interact with you, Mr. Alok and Mr. Chandrasekhar, on this very exciting topic which is very close to all of our hearts. And you being important players in this space, it's vital for us as a team to understand your journey, your progress. How do you perceive the renewable energy landscape, especially in Andhra Pradesh? And where do you think, as a state, as a political dispensation, what should be the policies, regulations, challenges which needs to be identified and solved so that the entire state investment sector is investor friendly? Now, we all know that before diving into the specifics and going into a discussion with you, I think broadly, we all know that Andhra Pradesh has been a pioneer in clean energy related investments, starting from deployment of various technologies, be it solar, wind, hybrid technologies, storage, etc. There have been multiple advantages or rather strengths which Andhra Pradesh as a state has, right from a very strong and willing political dispensation being chaired, being headed by our very own CM, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu. And along with that, the state has multiple advantages to it. It's the state which has one of the longest coastline in the country. It's the state which has been a hub for major investments. It's a state which has a tremendous renewable energy potential in terms of solar radiation, wind potential, etc. All these parameters and factors are driving, have been driving rather, investments in the clean energy space. And as it has been mentioned, there are critical players who have been in the state, who have invested into the clean energy landscape. The idea is to engage with you all and understand where has been your experience. What do you think are the challenges which you have been facing? And as a state, as a policy regulatory enabler, what is additional that the state should be doing? That's the core objective of interacting with you. So I will start with Mr. Alok. Sir, first of all, welcome again to the discussion. You being part of the UPC renewables and heading those overall the firm level activities, maybe I would start off with understanding how has been your journey as a player in the overall clean energy landscape. How do you see the investment potential in the state? And in throughout your journey, what has been your experience, and where do you think are some of the challenges which the state should be striving to address? And how do you see the growth potential of clean energy, both on deployment as well as on manufacturing side in the state?
Thanks, Chandan. And just to give a very brief background on my renewable energy journey. So I have been a part of power sector in India since 2000. So almost 25 years in the power sector. And out of that, almost 2 decades have been in the renewable energy, both in solar and wind. And I mean, the first PPA in solar that I signed for 18 rupees and just 1 megawatt. I mean, that was also one of the highlights, basically, when India was just taking its baby steps towards its renewable energy journey. And then basically the National Solar Mission was launched, and basically there was a country target of doing 20 by 20 gigawatt by 2020. And at that point of time, even 20 gigawatt with the place where we were standing at that point of time in the country, it looked like a huge target. Okay. And then the National Solar Mission was launched, and then there was this thermal bundling scheme because renewables per se was so expensive at that point of time that for renewables to be bought by the distribution companies, I mean, basically a scheme was launched that it would be bundled or mixed with the thermal energy so that it becomes more affordable and palatable for the distribution companies to pay for it along with the thermal energy that they were buying from the central sector units. And that's how basically the initial tenders were rolled out, and 5 megawatt kind of bids were rolled out. Those were at 12 rupees and 14 rupees. We signed up. I was a part of Lanco Solar at that point of time, and we ended up signing about 35 megawatts out of that. And in 2012, when we had a portfolio of about 125 megawatt, it looked like a very large portfolio. And that was the journey. I mean, basically a 2.5 gigawatt was the kind of runway that the country was looking at that point of time. Then I was a part of Sun Edison, and one of the basically highlights of my stint at the Sun Edison was participation in this 500 megawatt Kadapa solar park bid. That was basically one of the largest solar parks that was done in the country, in the state Andhra Pradesh. And being a part of the Sun Edison, I was along with Mr. Pashupati Gopalan, who was the CEO of Sun Edison. So we participated in this bid and emerged as winners. And at that time, I mean, moving from 18 rupees to 12 rupees and 14 rupees to 4 rupees 63 paisa. So it was a huge difference over a span of less than a decade. And I mean, after that, of course, there were multiple such parks that were launched. And and I mean, coming to the state, the state, if you look at, let's say, the journey of the state, it has been one of the top 5 RE states in the country. And till till let's say 2018, 19, the overall installed capacity of RE in the state was about 7 gigawatt, but it did not improve much after that from 19 to 24. And in fact, basically the renewable energy sector, in fact, take a step backwards in the state, where it went through a dark phase where the tariffs were opened, there was regulatory reviews, there were curtailments on the renewable energy. And that point of time, while Andhra was not growing in general, but if you look at other states in the countries, both Rajasthan and Gujarat, almost added 18 to 20 gigawatts at that in that similar time frame. Now coming to 2024, again, basically the state has taken off in a large way. If you look at just the open access regulations, from negligible in 23, it has added almost 1.5 gigawatt. Then similarly, in terms of basically overall, we are looking at almost more than 5.5 gigawatt of solar, 4.5 gigawatt of wind. So it has taken a pretty good progress so far as a state. And this release of integrated clean energy policy in 24, which was released in March 25, I think that sets the expectations and the aspirations of the state for the next 5, 6 years. And I think that is a very big and defining moment for the state, because the kind of aspirations that it has laid for itself as to where it wants to be in these 5, 6 years, that's tremendous. From 5.5 gigawatt of solar that we have, they're looking at basically setting up almost 78 gigawatt of solar. Similarly, wind is at 4.5. That's aspired to be 35 gigawatt. Then there is PSP. I mean, we only have 1.7, I think 1.7 gigawatt Pinnapuram, which is currently just getting operational, and the aspiration is close to 21 gigawatt. And an overall investment portfolio of $100 billion that the policy is trying to achieve over this. And even till 2030, they are looking at adding another 20 gigawatt to the state. So I think that is what the state is basically pivoting towards, is again basically taking its place of pride among the states in the country. So that's certainly a very good thing. The other good thing about the state is that it has both solar and wind and hydro. So it's one of the states where the GHI is good, where the wind speeds are good, and therefore, in terms of the overall mix of renewables that it can basically lead to, that is also another very positive about the state. And then the third aspiration about developing a green hydrogen economy, that is also, I mean, along the coastal belt for export purposes as well. We have HPCL and BPCL, very large refineries, which again is a customer within the state itself. So that was, the runway is huge, and it's up to the state as to how much it can basically deliver on those promises. With the ICEP 24 policy, it has definitely started with a very good note.
Right, Mr. Alok, I think you have delved upon some of the various important and strategic levers which the state has been pursuing. Before I move on to Mr. Chandrasekhar, there are a couple of questions also which I want to ask as a related area. While I mean there has been some issues or the other in the past, now the vision has been laid out, as you rightly said, the runway has been spread out. Now, apart from the conventional way of developing renewable, which has been largely through utility scale developments, what other innovative models or innovative technologies do you foresee in the renewable energy technology? Say, for example, hybrid or solar plus storage, Or is there any other avenue apart from utility scale where, as a player, you would want the state to focus upon? As you rightly said, in the past, there has been issues of transmission congestion, curtailment, which has been done by utilities. So just thinking out of the box, apart from the conventional way of growing renewable energy in the state, which obviously is going to happen with the vision, where do you think the state or rather the investor community can focus on other innovative models or innovative avenues? Like, how do you think the CNI sector is poised in the state? Where do you think, as a CNI player, can enhance the renewable energy penetration in the state? That is one. Secondly, as an investor or as a private player, while you have highlighted some of the challenges that the state faced in the past, but again, that has been overcome thanks to the political dispensation which is currently there. But what would be some of the, in your opinion, what are the three topmost priorities which you see that the state should be focusing on to help while there has been a runway, but how do we ensure that going forward the effective addition of renewable energy is done properly? What should be the top three priorities or top three suggestions which you would be willing to sort of provide it to the government for consideration?
Sure, thanks, Sundar. So, I'll take the first part of your question as to how the technologies are evolving and where the investors are presently focusing. Initially, most of the focus as a country again, and the same challenges are being faced in the state as well as a country. Initially, it was pure solar and pure wind because the proportion of renewables as a percentage of the overall energy mix supply for the country was still relatively small. Okay, but I mean, once we achieved 150 gigawatt that has been added to the grid, and we are, you know, gearing ourselves as a country to add 500 gigawatt by 2030, the scale of the problems become very, very important because now the grid, as a grid operator, the intermittency has become a huge issue. And similarly, I mean, we are looking at releasing tenders of about 50 gigawatt each year in the country, and that much amount of renewables eventually is going to be absorbed by the distribution companies. Okay, already we are at a stage where 35% of the energy mix in the country is coming from renewables, so it's a substantial mix. And that brings its own set of problems if you do not add stability elements into the power mix. And that is where basically the grid operators have started insisting that, I mean, with the thermal and hydro, which was there in the country, which was providing a lot of balancing elements. Now in these renewable energy, the balancing elements as such, because it's not a moving mechanical load, is not existing unless you basically design for it specifically. And therefore, the reactive compensation has come to the fore that each of these projects have to provide for reactive compensation. They need to provide, I mean, the grid operator should be able to dynamically control the project so that whether it's active energy or reactive energy, all of that. So the kind of technological intervention that are required to build a project, that itself has evolved significantly over the last 2 years, which then the second thing is now the distribution companies are also veering towards round the clock kind of projects instead of plain vanilla solar and wind. So there have been several bits of solar and hybrid as well, but that also lacks the storage element. And that ways, basically, when you are looking at long duration storage like PSP, which is already available in AP in abundance, and addition of a lot of BESS, pure play battery energy storage systems, as a part of the state grid and also as a part of the generation as well. And therefore, the distribution companies are increasingly demanding complex hybrids, which is a combination of solar, wind, BESS, as well as basically PSP. And it's basically renewables on demand. That is the kind of basically scenario that we are going towards. I mean, as a country, green electrons are welcome, but it is also something that we should be able to look at with a lot of predictability. So I think that is something that the country is pivoting towards sheerly by the demand of the distribution companies and the kind of basically visibility and certainty that it needs to provide. So that is one. Then the second is the green hydrogen basically that is emerging on the horizon. I mean, it is still 3-4 years down the line when the projects actually start coming up, but it is also a large guzzler of renewable energy. Okay. So that way, I mean, there would be a lot of renewable energy that is going to be installed to feed for the for the green hydrogen kind of requirements, and the other would be to the complex hybrids, so that the distribution companies become agnostic whether it's a green electron or a gray electron, because they are able to control it perfectly as if it. So that is something that I mean, we as IPPs are also actively, you know, evaluating these kind of opportunities. And if you look at the C&I space, so far we have done about a gigawatt here in AP on the C&I front, and the policy dispensation that has come, again, it provides a lot of predictability, that how are you going to get the connectivity, whether you want to apply for short term, medium term, or long term connectivity, and there is a time bound processes. Then, as a developer, I mean, whenever we are looking at a project, or what are the 3-4 things we are looking at? Connectivity that is available in a time bound manner. The land should be abundant and should be aggregatable, because even for a 300 megawatt, we are looking at 1,000 acre kind of a land, which is a huge chunk. And normally in many states apart from Rajasthan, it's very difficult to aggregate such large chunk because of the alternate use of crops, like alternate use of these lands like crops. So that was. And the third is basically how stable is the grid, whether I would be able to inject all of my energy that I'm able to generate into the grid. I think that's the third element. So that was, again, the kind of investment program that the state has evolved with the green energy corridor, which is basically adding about 11 gigawatt of solar and 7 gigawatt of PSP into the grid. That it happens timely, that is very important, because we have earmarked the fund, we have identified the projects, but a lot of these are linear projects. They take their own sweet time, and sometimes there is a lot of mismatch between renewable energy projects and these transmission lines, which is extremely critical, because the investments that are involved in these renewable energy projects are much larger compared to the transmission line which they are dependent on. So that is a very critical element, that timely completion of the transmission elements is very critical, so that the investment pace that the investors are going to pick up, it does not stop. So that's one. Then the second is again the clearances. So the state requires basically these GOs. That is something that basically I think there needs to be more facilitation to get it in a timely manner. And similarly, there have been these GOs which have been awarded in the past. I mean, those are around critical substations. And therefore, for a new investor like me who does not have a footprint in the state, if you want to start building a footprint, I mean, some of these GOs would need to be vacated so that fresh investment can come in. So I think that is, and the last bit about the land itself. I mean, the state has done very successful these solar park kind of models previously. 1 gigawatt multiple solar parks the state has launched, and that really works wonders, because if we are able to solve for land, then the investment can be done very quickly, because the solar park solves for the land as well as the evacuation. So if we can do more of that as the state, the faster the flow of investments are going to be in the
Right.
in the state.
Right. I think those are really valid points, Mr. Alok. As you said, land is one of the most critical elements when we consider large-scale renewable parks, solar parks. And what you're also hinting at is, while the state has done substantially good, but there are certain areas where it could be sort of, the processes could be streamlined, it could be in sync with the investment on the ground. Connectivity could be given at a faster pace. So the processes are there. It could be streamlined and relooked at, and so that we don't spend much time in actually getting the projects commissioned and the electrons flowing into the grid. And you have also pointed out rightly the phrase which you said, sir, renewables on demand. So that basically refers to the fact that going forward, the utilities are going to procure renewables as a dispatchable source. So more and more flexible sources are going to get required in the grid, and that is also going to require, as you rightly said, those are not rotating parts. So you need more of reactive power compensation. The utilities have to be smarter in managing those influx of green electrons into the grid. Thanks for those very valuable points, sir. I will move on to Mr. Chandrasekhar. So, Chandrasekhar sir, again, once again, welcome to this panel.
Thank you.
I think we have been hearing Mr. Alok on his thought processes, his vision, and his sort of opinion on how this sector is rapidly scaling up and what are his challenges he has been facing. In your opinion, sir, again, my first question would be to get a sense of your journey throughout in this overall RE landscape, especially your experience in Andhra Pradesh. Where do you think the state has fared well? What are some of the advantages that you have got as a private player in the state? And where do you think again, my question would be the same, your top 2 to 3 pain points which you would like the state government to address so that you have more and more investor sentiment in the clean energy landscape in the state?
Sure, sure. So I think Mr. Alok has covered much of it. Let me see what more I can add value beyond what he has told. To sort of give an introduction about me, I have been in the renewable energy space for about 12 years now. Started in 2014, worked with various organizations like Bosch, CleanMax, spent a couple of years at EY, and now I am with Oriano Clean Energy. AP is something which has been there and thereabouts in terms of in the renewable energy space. They were the market leader, they were the front runners. Probably till 2019, they had a very good policy which came in 2019. And then subsequently, it sort of tailed off where Karnataka, Maharashtra, and other states or Gujarat took sort of precedence over that. But like he said, the new policy is something which is a game changer, which sort of sets a roadmap in terms of what can be done. Currently, the renewable is about 10 gigawatt there. But I think this lays out a really good potential there. And that's why we as an organization are also excited to look at AP very significantly. Typically, AP is one of the states which is like really blessed in terms of having everything put together. So you have states which are pretty much solar heavy. They may be solar or wind heavy. So AP is one state where you have solar, wind, hydro, PSP, and of course, BESS can sort of come in together. That sort of forms a perfect mix of setting up renewables, which is also evident from the projects which are sort of coming up. Like Mr. Alok said, the need of the hour, which most of the agencies are looking at, is firm and dispatchable renewable energy, FDRE. And that's why you will see a lot of FDRE bids coming in. And you'll also see a lot of developers setting up renewable energy capacities in AP as a main front. Like AP, Karnataka, Gujarat, AP is one of the main front where you will get both solar as well as renewable at a single spot, which sort of helps your FDRE output. And that's where we as an EPC company have been able to secure a lot of businesses here. We sort of help developers set up the renewable energy capacity, and we've seen over the past few years that the projects have been, at least for the past year or so, the project have been taking off. Few things, few things which I would like to see has scope for potential, especially in the CNI segment, is a lot of projects have happened in APR majorly utility. CNI is something which is a very nascent market here and has a potential to explode in terms of capacities. The Green Open Access regulation obviously is a game changer here, but a couple of things which sort of, at least my experience from talking to various customers who do sort of IPP business, is the energy accounting, I think. So once the projects are set up, you have a certain amount of capacity which is sort of offset immediately. Then I think it takes about 3 months for the balance 30% or so to sort of offset. That is something which can be looked at. That will ensure that the power, the benefit or the offtake is immediate, and the CNI customers can see it also sort of immediately, which sort of helps the developers, which again sort of helps us secure more capacities. Secondly, in terms of land aggregation, it's a fact that land aggregation is the toughest piece of the puzzle. Solar project can come with a certain timeline, but land is something which is unpredictable. I can do a land anywhere within 3 months to, if things go south, it's anywhere between 12 months. So that's something which is something critical to sort of address, especially a single window clearance system, which sort of smooth lines all my approvals in single go, is something which the state can look at, where I don't have to like from land and connectivity put together. If I have a single source where I can get all of them done, it just saves time, and it also saves on the effort in terms of getting the project running faster. these are the major things which I see. And of course, if there's a potential to set up a land banks, obviously better this. But to close it off, I really see utility has been happening. ISTS is something which is majorly happening in AP, but INSTS and CNI is something which I see, if worked on, can be the next. It could be the next big project capacity addition, because you will see a lot of CNI states are now sort of tailing off in terms of saturation, because most of the developers typically look for A-rated clients, and that's a sweet spot to have. Since this has been happening over the few years, all your major states have a certain saturation in terms of A-rated clients. They've already signed up capacities or they're signing up for something new. AP is one state where there is a significant potential for the capacities to come up in the next 3 to 4 years if everything goes well and smooth.
Those are really valid points. Maybe I will go the important 2 points which you highlighted. The second point was on the land aggregation. You rightfully pointed out the same point which Mr. Alok also pointed out. Uh, apart from this availability of land is obviously an issue. What do you think would be a solution to that? Now, obviously, expediting the land-related clearances is one side of the story, which the government has to do. But as you rightly said, land banks could be identified. What's your thought process of having, say, for example, a digital land bank or a digital land portal? Do you think that is a feasible solution which might help the developer? Any thoughts around that? That will be the first question, Mr. Chandrasekhar. The second question will be on the first issue which you highlighted on the open access accounting. Maybe in the interest of the audience here, maybe you can pinpoint on what exactly is the issue. That will help the audience and the members also to understand what is the exact pinpoint issue.
Sure. So in the land bank, so apart from land bank is one thing. Secondly, I think it's across multiple states in India, but one of the things which can be done is typically a land, we generally do a documentation of last 30, 60 years. So in most cases, it's such that the records aren't maintained well, or they're thereabouts. So and it sort of takes too much hassle or too much effort to sort of get the clearances before we move to land aggregate, to actually taking up the land or buying the land or leasing the land. And second is that in India, primarily the land is very fragmented. So you have an average holding of about 2 to 3 acres per farmer, or 2 to 4 acres per farmer, which means that the amount of due diligence I need to do and the back and forth I need to get the document to do the due diligence is something which is significantly time consuming for me. And even then, you're not sure whether have I done it rightly, or over a period of time, is there something which I have missed, or is there something which my legal partner has missed? So a portal where you get all the documentation and it's sort of clearly aligned, an online portal is something which will really help. I think many states are moving towards that. I think AP is also moving towards that, but the journey is still there to be covered. On the CNI, my basic understanding is that generally in any open access, once the power is sort of delivered, you sort of get the offset within the same month. So if you have, say, in the month of April, you get the power in May. In AP, I believe the 70% of the power is sort of accounted immediately. Then there is a system and process in place which the balance power is offset after a couple of months or 3 months time. So that's something which one holds out the payment for the developers as well, because the customer typically agrees to only pay after he receives credits for that. And secondly, it's better to have it now and then have clarity on how much renewable I am, rather than wait for 3 months more. So that is something that can be structured. I think it's been solved for in most states, something that can be done for here. It's not a difficult problem to solve for. So that's one of the things.
Understood. Yeah, I think the land is the issue which is common among what you said and Mr. Alok said. That definitely is resonating to us as a potential area which the state has to focus on. Definitely there has been improvements and progress which has been done till now, but that's the critical pain point of developers, EPC players, installers, etc. And as you rightfully pointed out, this accounting process in the open access, if it can be front-loaded, that can give a relief to the developers, which obviously would be a relief to EPC players. That's definitely a valid point. I think to summarize, before I hand it over to moderators, what is coming out is definitely there has been a substantial progress in terms of enabling policies, regulations, vision, the segue, etc. But land appears to be the critical challenge. That is something which the state can definitely ease out a bit for the investors. And on and off, there are other issues, as Mr. Alok also pointed out, on the connectivity. Connectivities could be given faster. The utilities have to, while I understand Andhra Pradesh has utilities which are definitely front runners in terms of digitalization and all, but again, with growing penetration of renewables, there has to be a smarter way of dealing with the intermittency and allied elements like more and more influx of reactive power, dealing with a grid where we don't have more of rotational inertia, etc. And as you also rightly pointed out, there could be some areas on open access which could ease out the play for developers. Now those are very valid points. Before I hand it over to moderators, thanks to Mr. Alok and Mr. Chandrasekhar for taking out time and sharing these valuable inputs, which will definitely act as a precursor to the larger event, which is scheduled on 19th and 20th September. If there are any questions around this for our panelists, I will request the participants to please feel free and the moderators to please go ahead and ask. But yeah, over to you, Ala, and the moderators for taking this ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. And I believe you've covered everything very well, and we have an expert panel today. So, thank you for expertly moderating such a meaningful and insightful discussion. Our sincere gratitude to each of our panelists for your valuable inputs and real world perspectives. So, I believe we do not have any questions posted by our live audience yet. I will just give them about a minute or so more till we go over the details of our upcoming event. So, as we draw today's session to almost a close, I'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our audience for tuning in today. And we hope today's conversations have sparked new ideas, built connections, and inspired a renewed commitment towards advancing renewable energy in Andhra Pradesh. But this is just the beginning, and we invite you once again to be part of the Andhra Pradesh Clean Energy Expo and Investors Conclave 2025, taking place on September 19th and 20th at India Expo City, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. So let's continue this journey together toward a more sustainable, resilient, and energy secure Andhra Pradesh. So once again, I would just give you a quick preview of what's in store for you with the event, and I will just request my team to kindly play the video. All right, so as you see, we have a power-packed two-day event coming up, and we hope to see you all there. I believe there are no questions posted, so with that, we draw the webinar to a close. And thank you once again for tuning in today. And until next time, stay sustainable and stay inspired. Thank you all.
Thank you.